I'm looking at how to connect the existing leisure battery cables to the Fogstar. At the moment, the positive side has 2 connections going to it, and the negative side has 2 connections plus a temperature probe. And these, I think these small bolts that they are bolted into are M6s, and whereas the Fogstar has M10 posts, and I know from experience that the bolts they supply won't take more than a couple of ring connections. So my options really are to find some sort of adapter that will take an M10 to an M6, or to re-terminate these connectors with M10s, or to install some sort of bus bar that will drop the sizes down from M10 down to M6. Well, I found these, which appear to do exactly what I need. Can't say I'm terribly excited about the price, as I'd need 2 of them, but these look like they're solid brass. They've got M10, M8, M6 and M4 threaded holes in them, and this hole at the bottom is an M10, and but that would stick up, what's that, 5.1 centimeters above the existing battery terminal. So I think I might just mock something up and see what that looks like if I was to bolt this to the top of the Fogstar battery. I got my craft knife out and made a cardboard mock-up of what those brass bus bars look like, and it's quite instructive to do this because I can immediately see that if I was to mount this on the positive terminal down there in that orientation, this lower edge would be beneath the side of the battery, and it would be touching, or certainly in danger of touching, the metal chassis. So that's not going to work. So I can tell that the only really feasible orientation is to have the stand-up parts facing inwards like that, and I think that's going to work. Looking down vertically, it looks like it will just clear this 5 amp fuse that's down there. So I think I'm going to have to go ahead and bite the bullet and get a couple of these. One other potential issue is that the brass is, I think, 6.5mm thick, and the bolts that Fogstar supply to go into these terminals are not terribly long, and so I may have to get longer M10 bolts to go into there, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Well, and here they are, and I have to say I'm rather impressed. Firstly, with the speed of delivery. I ordered these yesterday afternoon and they arrived this morning by DPD overnight, so that's amazing. And secondly, with the quality, these are beautiful. I mean, they're not quite the same as my cardboard original, and somehow I think they're going to be better, so we'll get rid of that. But yeah, very nice. I went out this morning and got some an assortment of metric bolts, so that gives me lots of mounting options, and importantly I got some 30mm M10s, which and shake-proof washers and what have you, to bolt these down onto the battery terminals of the Fogstar. And they look, I'll need to measure them, but they look like they'll go into the existing posts without issue. So yeah, good to go. As I guessed, the bolts that Fogstar supply really don't protrude very far. They do bite into the terminals, but only by a few turns. I contacted Fogstar and they said, nope, you've got to go and buy your own bolts, so thanks very much for a £650 battery. Have to go out and spend another £2.50 on bolts. And the ones I bought this morning are too long. These are 30mm M10s and they don't go in all the way. So I'm going to have to buy some shorter ones, 20mm or 15mm or something like that. But anyway, it gives me a chance to look at what these bus bars would be like when mounted on the battery terminals. And I think that's going to work quite well. It gives me lots of connection options, and I can still get at the CAN bus port down there. Remember that the battery is going to be on its side, so these will be protruding out of the front, so they're not going to foul anything down here or on the side that it's resting on. So yeah, so far so good.